Today we are going to automate the deployment of a real Kubernetes cluster through the use of Ansible. But before we start doing that, we are going to explore the basics of Ansible, mainly focusing on the 20% things, knowledge you will be using in 80% of the time. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Mohammed, also known as Mohido by the 150 something subscribers. Today we have a tiny Ansible course with an actual project. So what is Ansible? This tool can run commands on any group of servers. So instead of typing the commands again and again and again, Ansible can automate all that manual work we just spoke about. You write the command once and Ansible executes it on multiple servers. But how does it really do that? Well, it uses the SSH protocol to connect to the servers and then run the commands, just like how you would normally do it. Before we start, we need to set up a testing environment. I personally use VirtualBox to create virtual servers and networks. If your computer has at least 8 GB of RAM, you can do the same thing. As you can see, I've already created a virtual server with Rocky Linux, and I can SSH to it as well. Since Ansible really is written with Python, we can install it using the pip, the Python package manager. So let's check if pip is installed by using the Python command. This command will output the version of the pip. As you can see, I do not have it, so let's install it. Download the git pip Python module by using the curl command, and then execute it using Python. Since now we have pip installed, let's install Ansible. We can type python run with module pip install the package Ansible. After the installation is done, we can test it by typing Ansible localhost -m ping. And as you guessed already, the green output means success. Note that here the ping does not really rely on the ICMP protocol that the ping uses. It simply checks if SSH works or not. So what really happens behind the scene? Well, Ansible tries to SSH to localhost, and if it succeeds, it prints this pong thing. To demonstrate Ansible, I'll add another server called boss to the network. I also added its IP to the hosts file. This file acts as a local DNS server, meaning that whenever we type the server name, it's going to be translated into its IP address. For example, if we ping the boss server, the server name is going to be translated into the IP address of that server. So how did I get the IP address of the boss server? Well, I used the IP root command. Now for us to use the Ansible command, we have to create two files. The first one is called the inventory file in the realm of Ansible. I personally hate that naming convention, so I'll just call it targets because it literally contains the target servers and some additional variables. And the content of that file, the inventory file, the targets file, call it whatever, will be literally these two lines. The all is a group name. Yeah, we can group servers into groups. And the thing underneath it is our server name. Second, Ansible requires also a configuration file, mainly named by ansible.cfg. It specifies settings like where the inventory file is, which is the target file, and additional SSH settings. So for example, here I tell it where the targets file is, the username we're gonna use NSH, and don't show the annoying fingerprint message when I try to SSH. Just one thing to keep in mind. The Ansible tool, by default, is going to look for this configuration file in the folder which you run the Ansible command from. So make sure to put the file in your project folder and run the Ansible command from that project folder. Now we have the two files set up inside the project folder. Let's try it out, and it fails. This issue really is not an Ansible thing, it's an SSH problem. By default, when we SSH, it asks for a password. Ansible do not like that. Now, we have two ways to surpass this issue. First is to tell Ansible to ask for SSH password before proceeding. We can do that by adding the ask pass flag to the Ansible command. However, as you can see, it requires the SSH pass package to be installed. I'm not going that route though, because there exists a better solution, which is by using a private and a public key. Navigate to the SSH directory and use the SSH keygen command to create the keys. Answer the question, or keep the defaults of course, in a production environment. At least for God's sake, give a password. After creating the keys, we need to copy the public one to the boss server. Use the SSH copy ID command with the public key. After copying the public key, type this command. Just make sure to use the private key at the end. This will load the key to the operating system, so applications like Ansible can use it. Now if we try Ansible, it works. This entire setup is mainly done once in a while. Just remember that if you are going to add a new server, you must copy the public key to it using the SSH copy ID command. Okay, a quick summary. Ansible requires two files, the configuration file and the targets file. In addition to the Ansible configuration, you must configure your SSH connections by creating keys, share the public ones, and add the private one to the system, so applications like Ansible can use it.